Hey everyone, welcome back to DIY Chris. I'm Chris, and in this episode I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while, which is taking a look at an eBay purchase. I don't even know what's in this box. Honestly, if you look at the date here, it was shipped in April of 2021, and we are almost in December, so this could be anything. It may not even be a Commodore. I'm pretty sure it is, though. What else would it be? So let's go ahead and open this box up and see what's inside. Don't know what's in here. Don't know if it works, if it's broken. Don't know if it's in a million pieces. But apparently this box was once used to sell large garden flags for $1 each. Okay, looks like I purchased a vintage Commodore Vic-20 and a Commodore C2N Datasette. Interesting. For $35. Plus $14.80 in shipping and $2.45 in sales tax. Alright, thanks for your purchase. Hope you love it. Look at that personal, touch here. Okay. I was kind of hoping that this was going to be a Commodore. I mean, it is, but it's a Vic-20 and Datasette, which I don't even know if I have a cartridge to test that with. Also, I'm going to have to find the very special power connector that goes onto this thing. Since the only power connectors I have on the bench... Oh! These switches are always a problem. But this is one of the, wow, yeah, so this has been opened. So, I guess, you know what, before I even try and connect this to a power supply, I'm going to go ahead and open it up and see if something weird's going on inside, because what have we got? Screws. Oh, alright. So I'm going to disconnect the LED, disconnect the keyboard. Whoa. Shit's just falling apart. Look at this. Crazy. Alright. So, number one, this fuse actually looks like it's blown. So, why not? Is this? Is this a coffee bean? Whatever it is. It is crusted onto the board. Gross. Man. So, you know, we got the usual stuff in here. We've got the 6522 and 6502, right? The 6502 is the CPU, and the 6522 are the CIA chips. For the VIC-20, they use the 6522s, which are more common, and the 6502, which is also more common, easily replaceable. Because I don't even know, I think we might have replacement fuses for these. Okay. So, this fuse seems bad. It's definitely blown. Just mostly want to take a look at the bottom of this thing. RF shield. These are just glued on with, not glued on, taped on with what appears to be copper tape. Okay. Cool. All right. First glance, I'm not really seeing anything out of the ordinary. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to try and find a power supply for this thing. So let me do that. Okay, here's the power supply. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this power supply is giving us the right voltage. Although these weren't as bad as the C64 power supplies. So we got about 11.3 volts AC, which is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and have also a replacement fuse here. So pop that guy in. And hopefully nothing's going to blow up if I plug in this. Right, so far so good. So, this cord is so annoying. Okay, nope, it's going to do it again. Alright. Now let's switch. Okay, the fuse is holding up. Nothing's actually getting super hot. CPU's getting warm, or that could just be in my head. So, hook up the display. We get nothing. Wonderful. Let's check, see if we're dropping voltage somewhere. We got 5 volts on the 5 volt rail. Not mad about that. Seems exactly what it's supposed to be. We can try to so here's our CPU. So our processor is not processing. It's literally just kind of sitting there saying, hey man, I'm here, but I don't got shit to do. And if our processor is not processing, then none of the rest of our shit's gonna work. So turn this off for a sec. Good way to get into here. There isn't a good way to get in here. I'm trying to not damage anything. Use the famous 6560. Super duper graphics chip. That's what we get there. Okay, got a clock pulse. Not sure. So there's a clock pulse being sent. So I'm going to take a guess here and remove the 6522s. Wow. Some crazy strong socket. Almost wrong. Okay. So now the first thing I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to remove the graphics chip. Okay. Because that pulse is most likely, I don't have a schematic in front of me, but so that pulse is being sent by the clock, and then the graphics chip is supposed to output clock pulse to the CPU, if I remember correctly. Which is going to make the rest of everything work. So we have a clock pulse. We don't know what the actual clock pulse is, or if it's any good. What we need is the data sheet for the 6560. So on the 6502, 6502 reset is active low, so it should be high. Okay, so we're not in reset, which is good. We have clock, or pin 39 is 2 out, which is, that's not right. It's not what it's supposed to be. And then pin 37 is in. So I'm going to take this chip out and see if we're still getting pin 37. So that's the input for the clock, right? So 40, 39, 38, 37. And first of all, well, that's the reset pin. So that's going to go high. And then we've got this pin 39, which is supposed to be out. It's not going to have anything on it because the chip's not in. And then this, which is supposed to be the clock input pulse, is not being clock input pulse. But where is that coming from? Is that coming from the Vic chip? So what we need to do is we need to look at a schematic. So this is 35 on the 6560 and 35. So it got 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35. Which is not right. It has an ingoing pulse, so I'm thinking that this chip is bad. Let's see if I have another. I know I have some Vic-20s. Right. Put that in there. Okay. So well, now we get a dark display, which is new. 37. Right. Okay, so now we have a pulse for our CPU. So let's drop our CPU in because we are getting a black screen, which means that the video chip is outputting video like it's supposed to. So now, still getting a black screen. That could mean a couple of things. We also have these ROM chips that we can try to change out. These can also cause black screens. I'd like to try all this before I move on to desoldering these memory chips. Not something that come on. Hey, all right, look at that. We have a we got a screen. That looks right. That looks good. Okay. So let's figure out which one of these guys is bad. I'm gonna go with this one. I think this is the kernel, if I'm not mistaken. I have to double check. Okay, that one's good. 901.48601. Aha. That one's bad. You'll have to forgive me because I don't really work on Vic-20s. So I'm not sure exactly what the different ROM chips are. Okay, so the only one that's bad is this one. Basic ROM. Okay. So our basic ROM was bad. So, also want to check the... disconnect this. Don't need that anymore. One thing, just want to make sure that this chip is actually bad. These are obviously one of the more specialized chips that you're just not going to be able to find at a store. Yeah. That's a it's a dead chip. Okay, that's too bad. All right, so we have fixed it. I'm not going to put that back on just yet, but yeah. So this is working, and the issues, the only issues that we had were that the Vic chip was bad, and the basic chip was bad. So these two guys were bad. Oh, and we had a blown fuse. So whatever killed the fuse probably also killed the Vic and the basic ROM. Surprisingly enough, the memory's fine, as far as we can tell. We do have to run some kind of test on here. Now, I don't have any kind of diagnostic cartridge for the Vic. I do have, like I said, this data set that we can use to test with, to test the peripheral connection here for, I think, CIA2 belongs to that. And then this one, mostly for the keyboard. If it works like the Commodore, then that's, I think, how it's configured. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off now for now. And I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm actually going to clean this board, and then we're going to come back, because this looks like shit, and we're going to put this back in its case, its shitty, ugly yellow case, that we have to somehow clean a little. Okay, so I did a couple of things off camera, and I should have probably recorded them, but just wanted to show you guys one more time what this board looks like before I clean it. Okay, so what I did is I removed a bunch of the heatsink stuff, which include the voltage regulator. Sorry. And so basically this is like that right there. So when you're trying to clean these things, all of this stuff is in the way. So I actually had to desolder this, and there were some screws. And then I was also able to remove this part here. I took out all of the chips that are socketed. I also removed this part of the heatsink that was over here next to the bridge rectifier. So really what we're left with is, you know, mostly just the board and the components on the board. So that was stupid. But anyway, I'm not really worried about most of this stuff getting wet. I'm gonna dry it pretty much right away anyways. We don't need these stickers on these chips. So let's see if we can just remove them. Crap. Don't know what these represented. Probably not a whole lot. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up, and then when we come back, we're gonna go ahead and reassemble it, okay? Okay, so I did as much cleaning as I could without scrubbing away too much of the solder mask, which, as you can see, if this actually shows up in the camera, a lot of the solder mask on the back is just very, very thin, and the actual like traces are starting to show. I mean, all of the like I said, yeah, all of the solder mask is kind of just falling off. Anyways, I think the cleaning turned out really well. The board looks great. Everything's still kind of the way it's supposed to be, I suppose. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the chips back in first, so I can clean up some of this mess here. So we'll start with this one. Again, kernel, basic, CPU, character, Vic, and we've got our CIAs. So, board's clean, chips are a little dirty, but doesn't matter. Alright. So, now for the real test. Does it still function after all of that? So we'll go ahead and turn it on and find out. Hey, look at that. Alright. So, that's good news. So our Vic-20 is fully functional. Well, it turns on. We don't know yet if it's fully functional. So we need to test these. And before we do that, I want to clean up this case a little bit and put the board back in the case. And then when we come back, actually, one thing I will do while I'm on the camera is I'm going to unscrew this keyboard, and then we're going to see if maybe we can super glue this keyboard bracket back together, even though I think it'll be fine with the amount of screws that we have here. Probably would be best to fix it, but it is so broken. Datasette, and let's have a look at what we've got. This would be here, and then this would sit in here somehow. Yeah, and the other way down. Nope, it's definitely like this. Okay, so there is a fair bit of gluing we can achieve. So number one, I'm just going to throw some glue on here. That's the first piece. So we're just going to hold that. I wonder if there are any more pieces. Not that I can see. But while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and remove this guy. So the way you do that is carefully kind of just pry at the ring here, and these are threaded, so I could have unscrewed that. Okay, perfect. So then you just push the LED out. Actually, you pull the LED out there, and then push this out. that. Oh, and it's falling apart. Damn it. I should have known better. Okay, I think I have replacements for those. Alright, and then we're going to take off this sticker. And I'm going to go take this and clean it a little because it's super yellow. And let this be an indication to you here. I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit. Alright, so while it's not brand new and you definitely still have the yellowing, it is nice and clean, and I don't feel like I'm going to catch something crazy while touching it. So it just feels nice and clean right now. So the first thing I want to do is, since we broke the LED grommet that was in here, I want to try... Okay, so this one might just be okay. So if we slip this guy in here, and then we put in the LED, if we can. Okay, and then just kind of try and slide that over. Alright, I think that is good. Yeah, look at that. Okay. So, alright. Okay, so, got that in. Now I'm going to put in, actually these are the screws for the keyboard. The screws for the motherboard, they're all different. So I'm going to try to put a couple of these in. And come on. Okay. So that takes care of mounting the board. Cool. So let's have a look at this keyboard that we super glued back together. Seems to be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and okay. There are these. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in. Okay. Nice. All right. Now, reconnect the LED. And the keyboard. And let's put that on. Nice. Let's put those screws in. All three of them here. Now, for the test. LED turns on, and our Vic-20 is operational. Let's have a look at this. Actually, let's try to type some stuff. Huh, nice. We can type. I know, everybody writes the same damn thing. But it is the easiest and quickest way to test functionality. This looks fun, right? This looks black a little. Hopefully this isn't what killed the fuse and the Vic and the basic ROM. So, I'll take this data set. Oh no. And going to connect it. Alright, I think this is probably the first time I've ever connected a peripheral on the episode. First, I don't think this is allowed to actually do anything. Like, I don't think it sends anything until, like, we're actually going to try to load. So let's try to load something. Load. I don't know. It's not going to load anything anyways. Let's play on the tape. Alright, so yeah, this is not working. Now I don't know if it's not working because it's bad or what, but I do have one that we can test. Alright, looks basically the same. But interesting. I'm not getting anything here. Well, it's like it wants to. All right. We may have closed this up too soon. You know how we can test it? I'm going to test this off screen really quick. All right. So it would appear that we're not getting any power to the cassette port. So the good news is that we didn't super glue the Commodore back together. We just screwed it. So let's have a look and figure out why we're not getting any power at the Datasette port. Okay, so number one, we've got 5 volts there. We have 5 volt here. Let's start with this guy though. All right, so number one, we're supposed to be getting 9 volts unregulated. So let's check and make sure that we're getting the 9 volts that we're supposed to be getting. So we're getting 7.5. So according to the schematic of our NPN transistor, the TIP29, we are looking at supposed to be about 9 volt unregulated DC here, which we're at 11. I mean, but it did say unregulated, right? So, and then this over here is supposed to connect to Q4, and Q4 is supposed to give us about 7.5 volt. Okay, because that's being controlled by a Zener diode. So we're letting 7.5 volt go through from 2N3904. So that's all good because we're getting 7.5 volt here. 7.7. Okay. So TIP29 is supposed to give us some amount of voltage at the cassette port at this pin over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace TIP29 with a new TIP29. What's the point until we test to see what happens? Okay. So we get 7.1 volts here. Here's our unregulated voltage. And 7.6 volts here. I just don't think that that's right. Let's see what happens. Something bad's gonna happen, I feel it. Okay, nothing happens if I... Something else is wrong. Let's turn on. Cassette switch. What is that? 6... serial. Let's look at this again. We're looking at R10, which then goes to R11, which goes to Q3, which is the 2N3904. Let's just take that guy out and see. You can always solder it back in. And what I'll do, I'll stick this into my transistor tester. Alright, we got a BJT NPN transistor, 1, 2, 3, ECB. Oh, alright, so that one's good. So let's take out Q4, which is a 2N4 401. Okay, so there's definitely an issue with that. It thinks it's a resistor. Which most clearly is not. Right? Yeah, it's a freaking transistor. It's 1815. Alright. So that's probably the issue. So let's go ahead and replace that one. Oh shit. Okay. So it's coupled. The issue is bullshit because it's also because there's so much oxidation on these pins. So let's do ourselves a favor and let's clean up these pins. Now I have nothing to attach to the user port, so I cannot test that. So let's just plug that in. Nope. Yeah, it's just, you can't plug it in all the way. Because somehow it like loses connection. Alright. Now, it may look like I did a whole bunch of unnecessary work just to get this to work and to find out that I shouldn't plug this in all the way. Although now it seems to be working fine. Which is to say, let's also try the actual data set that came with this. God knows I don't want to have to take one of these apart and try to fix them, but I also want to test and make sure that it works with the one it came with. That's a tight fit there. Okay. Alright. Also backwards, I guess. Or not. I'm an idiot. Alright, now we're at the beginning. Set our counter to 0. Because you know how these tapes work, they start. You have to write down where your programs start, and you have to fast forward to where they actually start. It's quite the challenge. So plug this in. All right. So I think I have something loaded on this tape. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on, and I'm just gonna do load. it's going to tell me to press play. So I'm going to press play. Now it's saying that it's searching, but it's actually not doing anything. All right, we're searching. I think I may have broken it. Yeah, so that's not going to find anything. All right, so what we'll do is we'll just write a program really quick and then record it. See if that works. Let's do our usual 10. Print hello 20 go to 10, and this is going to be just a very short program, and we're just going to say save. And now it says to press record and play on tape, which we did, but it doesn't want to do anything. It should have detected that we pressed record and play. Now, this is where I'm a little sketchy. I'm not sketchy. I don't know if this actually works. So I'm going to use the one that I know works, and we're going to try that out. Tape in, and we can't hit record, and we also can't hit stop. Interesting. Now this is saying it's saving, which is weird because we didn't even get to hit record. Well, let's see if this one will load. Aha, found Donna. All right, ready. Let's do a listing. 10 print, I love Donna. How about that? Okay, so we are going to run stop. Broken 10, because that's where our loop was. So, and let's just stop on the tape, and let's rewind. And we are going to append to our program on line 15. Oh wait, we're going to go to 10. Yep, so 20 is go to. Right? So yeah, 20 is go to 10, 10 is print out of Donna. And so we're just going to do an append. 15, print, whoops. Okay, good. 15, print, and she loves me. Now, if we do a run, and run stop, so that we can actually read it, it says I love Donna and she loves me. Cool. We want to save that because that took forever to write. Save, record, and play. And we're saving. Be surprised like how much you actually have to like do here. So check this out. We're gonna rewind, press 0, and I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna turn it back on, just to show you guys that there's nothing in memory. Do a list, nothing there, and then we're gonna do a load. Which, by the way, if you're loading from a disk, right, you do comma 8. And you can specify a file name to load, right? So it searches for that file name and then loads it. On a cassette tape, it's a little different. You can also load, I think, a file name. I haven't actually tried this in a long, long time. But basically, what you want to do is you want to, when you save your programs, this is why this program counter is here, is you want to pay attention to where that stops. Because that stopping point would be where your next program would start, right? If we wanted to save two different ones. Anyway, so since we're at the very beginning, we just type load, enter, press play. So now it's going to start searching for our program. And once it finds it, it's going to load it. All right, it's doing it now. And now it's ready. So now if we do a list, there's our program. Cool, right? Okay. So now the question is why doesn't the other one work? These things are so cheap and so annoying to use that I honestly don't really even want to troubleshoot it. Functionality is there. Oh wait, it may work. Why it didn't work before, I couldn't tell you. No, it's loading. Alright, so let's do a listing. Program's there. Alright, cool. I am happy with all of that now. So I guess the only thing left to test at this point would be the cartridge. And I do have a cartridge. I just have to get to it. Okay, so here we have poker. And it looks like we have two cartridges in here. Slots. Let's try this slots one. Wow. The tightest fit ever on a cartridge. Hey, check it out. Welcome to Commodore Casino. Use joystick or keys. Push F1 to begin. Push F1 to play coin. Huh, interesting. I'm ready to accept. In full view? What is this? So confused. Alright. Anyways. This is working. So let's go ahead and put this whole thing together. There we go. One last test. We're still good to go. Nice. So, there you have it. A completely 100% fully restored and functional Commodore Vic-20 in all its super 80s glory. So what I would do with this next is I would probably do some retro brighting. It's getting a little chilly these days. Not much for sunlight right now. So I think that doing any kind of retro brighting is just not in the cards, at least not right now. So save that for some other time. Or you know what? I think what I'll do is I will list this for sale on my website for someone who wants to buy it. You'll know that it's been fully restored and cleaned, so you won't get COVID from it. It's been thoroughly washed with alcohol and all other kinds of stuff. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark this. 100% working. Tested. Clean. All right. If anybody wants to buy this Vic-20, check out my website or just leave me a comment in the comments and I'll see if I can find you a link. I also think that, yeah, the plastic is still on these badges, so that's kind of neat. You don't find those a lot anymore with the plastic still on. So this actually looks like it's in really good condition now. Yeah, it's working. We're done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you come back for the next one. If you liked the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and click the bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video.